From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up!
WARCHANT.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by
Vitamin Energy.
The vitamins.
The energy.
Now here's WARCHANT.com's Azan Hajavandi
and Corey Clark.
Wake up! It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. Coming up on today's show, after the scrimmage, we now got Gus Malzahn at the podium. How's the timetable for this offense developing? Defense, a name none of us considered, potentially an impact player, and Tony White's standard for the aggressiveness a defense needs. Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. VitaminEnergy.com. Shake it and take it. One little bottle packs a huge punch because it's synergistically formulated to give you all the energy you need to make it through your day, but also the vitamins to enhance your mood, to enhance your focus, to put you on top of your game. It's not even 2 ounces. You can take this bottle everywhere you got to go. Gym bag, top drawer of the office desk, console of the car, break room. Get a box. Put it out there. Let your subordinates drink it and watch you profit. VitaminEnergy.com. Shake it and take it. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Man, good times in the kingdom here. As Florida State coming off that scrimmage the other day, we got to speak to Tony White, Gus Malzahn. If you don't feel like listening to about 30 minutes of interviews, if you're a member of Warchant.com, you go on the Tribal Council, and Corey Clark's got a really thorough paraphrasing transcription summary of every single comment, pretty much, every Q, every A, performed between the media and those coordinators. And he's also here to talk because he's not just a craftsman of the written word. He's also an orator. What's up, Corey Clark?
That's why they call me the Oracle.
That's right.
Because I'm an orator. What's up with you, buddy? You excited about going to Jacksonville?
Oh, yeah, man. Let's get out there. Let's team bond. Let's build Dave and Buster's trip, hanging out in the dorms. Yeah. Identity Week, Corey. It actually has a name, it sounds like.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fun. Hey, whatever it takes, but you'll be out there starting today as people are listening to this. You'll be there for the practices. You won't be able to watch, obviously, but you'll get to film them, I assume, walking to practice. And then you'll get to talk to Norvell and some players after the fact. So, yeah, it's that time of year where they're at UNF, in the dorm, living the dorm life, trying to get better and closer together.
Yeah, so we'll get Norvell, Terrence Knighton, defensive line coach, as well as some student athletes later today. And then Friday we'll get Norvell and players, also known as student athletes. We spoke to Gus first, so let's just go in chronological order, I guess, Corey. My big takeaway from Gus's comments during his press conference, it felt to me, being a kid and being envious of my other friends who had nicer things than me, and my parents were like, sorry, be thankful for your health. And it's like, all right, I get it, but still, I want something like cool like that. It seems like Gus, the biggest thing I got from his comments in terms of what he took away from the scrimmage was just the ability to finally get something resembling a healthy starting 11 or the guys that he's going to rely on all out there at once performing, which is good. But, I'd like to hear a lot of big plays happening, but again, it's the first scrimmage, so maybe that's a little bit too high of expectations.
Yeah, and I don't know how transparent he would be with, this play hit for 26 yards, and Tommy made I don't know how much he's going to do that, even if they had a bunch of big plays. But, yeah, I think you're talking about a guy that understands what wins games, or more importantly, I guess, what moves the football and what puts points on the scoreboard. And, the fact that he mentioned, he's like, we got 11 new starters. Like, they're all new. It's an entirely new starting 11. I don't know. There can't be anybody that has more new starters than Florida State, but Florida State might be the only Power 4 team in the country that has a brand new starting 11. From week 5 of last year. I know Richie Leonard started a few games last year before he got hurt, but you wouldn't call him a majority of the season starter. So for that last game against Florida, the last 4 games, every starter you have is brand new to go along with the new coach and a new scheme. So there is a learning curve there, and I don't think that's just – it might be boring to hear. It might sound like coach speak, but, man, he just wants his offensive line to communicate and get on the same page and know what they're doing. They're all 300 pounds. They're all big enough dudes. If they know what they're doing, they're going to be okay. And, not like okay as in awesome, but okay as in okay. And if you're okay in a Gus Malzahn offense up front, if you're not just getting obliterated, you're going to move the ball and you're going to score points. So I think when he taught, like, that was the thing he got that was the only thing he seemed genuinely excited about, was that. But is he an excitable person? Like, what was he saying about Cam Newton before 2010? Like, legitimately, I'd love to go back and watch those preseason press conferences if he talked to the media because he was just the OC. But what do you think he was saying about Cam Newton? Like, yeah, he's got a chance. He's showing some strides. He's doing some things. Like, I don't know if he's a very effusive guy.
We've heard him say good things about Kevin Sperry during the spring, right? Like, doing really, really, really like what he's doing. He's got the drawl comes in extra thick, extra Southern, I feel like. So, but again, I appreciate it, Corey, because I think this just kind of underscores the different roles that really these guys all have now. I mean, I think Mike is much more big picture, much more philosophical. Let me make sure like my players feel loved and heard and appreciated. And I'm going to still coach them. I'm going to coach my assistant coaches. But when you hear Gus talk, it's like, hey man, how many days do we have now? 24 days until Alabama, and we got to get this installed. And just, he seems to be so absolutely dialed into the things that need to happen from just a pure football X's and O's standpoint to get ready to play your season opener, especially when you're breaking in all this new talent. You know, if this was Mike having to balance that part of things, right, like integrating all these guys into an actual game plan, but then also having to kind of, you know, be a guru emotionally to help these guys, whether it's being in a new system or being in a new city or a new campus. Like Gus is going to be totally in the workshop, in the lab. All he's caring about is football. So I think when we hear him talk in the urgency that he has, that's what's really the eye-opening part of it, is that he realizes how much farther they have to go. Not that it's undoable or it's daunting, but like to where he needs to have his offense, they're not close, it doesn't feel like. But they've got time, and he's dead set on making it happen in however many days it is.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I didn't necessarily get that impression. It didn't seem like he was panicked or worried at all to me. But it's Gus Malzahn. He's not like he's an easy book to read. And I'm not that used to talking to the man, so I don't know. I didn't get that impression at all that he was panicked. He was just kind of matter of fact because it's 6 days into practice. So, you know, the point is they have 20 more practices, 19 more practices. Like, he understands there's a lot of room to go because it's the 6th day of practice. Not because, oh, God, we're far behind. We're not anywhere close to where we need to be. We're not anywhere close to the timetable that I had. I didn't get the sense that they're behind on his timetable. I think it's just this is the timetable. You're 6 days into practice. You do have 11 brand new starters. You have a whole offensive line that didn't get to play together at all in the spring. So yeah, this is what it looks like. That's not what it'll look like on Sunday when they scrimmage again, and it better not be what they look like against Alabama. But you know, he's been doing this for so long, man, that I don't think he gets rattled or panicked by anything. He knows it's going to get better because he knows he's got veteran guys and he knows he's a good offensive coach. And it will get better because it always does.
Did I say panicked?
No, but it sounds like you think that he's
they can't be on schedule. How can they be on schedule when they didn't have their 11 guys during spring?
Whose schedule? Whose schedule?
His schedule to be able to beat a team like Alabama in week 1. And not that they can't get to that point, but I'm not even saying they're too far behind schedule, but he realizes they've got a lot of work to do in a little amount of time. They can make it work, but I mean, that was there was no sort of contentment. I felt there was some contentment when we heard from Mike Norvell after the scrimmage. I didn't get any sense of contentment from Gus is what I'm trying to say.
But that might just be, again, nobody on this show is expecting them to roll over Alabama. But I'm just saying, I think this is when you go through a spring and don't have your guys, and they're all new guys, you're not surprised that a week in, you're not maybe meshed well together. I think he's used to that.
I don't think he's surprised.
That.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't think he was caught off guard by this. I think he's just.
But I also don't think he's like, I'm not saying all coaches are worried all the time. Kirby Smart's worried. That dude worries more than anyone. And all he does is have NFL players everywhere on his defense, and he's worried how are we going to stop? Who do they play? They play somebody good in the opener.
Who, Georgia?
Yeah, Georgia plays somebody good, I think.
Oh, how do I not know this?
Maybe they don't. Maybe this is the one year they start with like Samford or something. But he'll be like, how do we stop Samford? They got an athletic quarterback. We got no chance. Like they all worry. Malzahn's worried. I don't think what happened Tuesday made him like put his hands in his hair and rip out the hair, because it's what he was probably expecting. And what I thought he did a good job of, honestly, when talking about the scrimmage, was like, yeah, we did pretty well at the beginning of at the first half of the scrimmage. We did well. We did what we want. But they were in a base defense. They were giving us a chance to kind of install and get looks and evaluate players. The second half is when the Tony White defense came out, and they didn't do as well. But he didn't seem real shook about that. And I know you're not saying he was panicked. And I'm not saying they're on schedule like to be a top 10 or top 5 team or to beat Alabama. But I feel like I don't want to insinuate that they're behind where he thought they'd be after 6 practices.
Okay. That's fair.
Because I just didn't get that impression. I got the impression they're kind of where he thought they'd be. You're mixing in 5 new guys that have never played together up front, and they're playing with a quarterback that never played together, with a bunch of wideouts they've never played with, and a running backs they've never played with. So, I thought that he was Gus. He was Gus. I don't know how we're going to read it. And it's not like Norvell gives us great insight either. You can't get the temperature of a team from his excitement level. But I don't know that you can with Gus either. He might be playing possum too, Aslan. It might have been the best scrimmage he's ever seen. Yeah. And he's like, oh, my God, we're going to have 2 1,000-yard rushers. Castellanos going to be in New York. We have the best – we're going to win that – what is that award for the Joe Moore Award?
Yeah.
We're going to win that thing as having the best offensive line, but I can't tell these guys that now after 6 days. I gotta slow it down a little bit.
How about Duce Robinson? We have not been able to watch practice, but we did see the clip that all of you saw, hopefully, on social media. I think we retweeted it from the Warchant account as well, but that we talked about on yesterday's show, too, the back shoulder kind of adjustment that Duce made with Jerry Wilson being clearly, I don't want to say in phase, but he was there to make a play. Duce made a better play. Yeah. Gus did say, I don't know if you asked him, but basically is that, or maybe Ira asked him, like, is that make a one-off, or is that kind of what Duce has been doing? And to hear him say that he has seen Duce do that ever since he arrived here, that's really encouraging too, because I'm cautiously optimistic about Duce Robinson. Like I think he's got all the skill set you want. He's got the right mentality. I just don't want to put so much hope in thinking that he's going to catch 65 for 1,200 and 9 touchdowns, and then it doesn't work out that way. But he seems to be coming along as a reliable, dependable receiver, according to Gus, it feels like.
Yeah, and according to Norvell, that clip was nice too. It's a really good catch, and he's done it in games. Unlike Malik Benson, made some really a few jaw-dropping catches last August too. That didn't turn into anything, but he had 10 catches in his career. Duce Robinson has more than that and has scored touchdowns and like I said, in big games. I feel like he might have scored one against LSU last year when they beat LSU in the opener. But anyway, he scored touchdown, or Penn State. He scored touchdowns in big games before.
Against Penn State. Yeah.
So that's what gives me more hope about that than just the talk of Gus or the talk of Norvell or that one clip. Is we know he can do it. He's proven he can do it. He has to do more of it. He's also going to get a bunch more opportunities here. So I'm really confident that he's going to be the number one. Now, how good a number one is he? Like last year, they didn't have a number one or a number two. They have a number one. I think Duce is the guy, clearly. He is going to be a difference maker out wide. To what degree? That's the question, right? He's definitely better than their number one last year, right?
Yes.
That's obvious. That is an absolute certainty. If he's healthy, he's a much, much better number one option than they had last year. Is he a Keon Coleman number one? Is he a Tamarian Terry number one? Is he I don't know, man, a Travis Rudolph number one? Go down the list. I don't know what degree of a number one receiver he's going to be, but you at least have one. Now it's just a matter of how good he ends up how good he ends up being this year, how well he plays. But there is a chance, right, Aslan? It is not absolute just tomfoolery to think that Duce Robinson could be an all ACC caliber wide receiver.
No, that's plausible. There's a reality that happens that you don't have to stretch
he moves well. He's a ridiculous size. He seems to have the right mindset. He's a hard worker, and he's done it. And he comes from good stock. all of that adds up to having a chance to be an all-ACC receiver. Last year with Malik Benson, yeah, he made a few plays that we saw, but it was kind of just the hope of, man, he used to be the number one JUCO receiver in the country, and he came from Alabama. Did he do anything in Alabama? Not a thing. But he's from Alabama. He played there. He was the number one JUCO wide receiver in the country. He might be good. We know Duce is good. We know Duce is a good – I think Duce is a good college receiver.
Yeah.
We don't know to what degree, though. I think that's the difference. But that gives me hope that he's going to be a good player.
I lied. He did not score a touchdown against Penn State. He did not score a touchdown against LSU, but he ate Tony White's defense alive, 4 for 90 and a touchdown.
He didn't score a touchdown against Penn State?
No. He had one catch for 25 yards. I think he got pushed out shy of the goal line.
Maybe that's what it was. Like down to, I thought I saw maybe it was ruled a touchdown, and then they went back and changed it, and he was out at the 1 or something.
Could have been.
I thought I remembered him making a big play against Penn State.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, listen, he had a long catch of 30 against Notre Dame, 48 against Nebraska, 32 against Wisconsin, 38 yards against LSU. So, that's what you want. If you give us one of those, I mean, that's like, 4 games? I said, I think he might have only played in 10 games last year. 6, give me 6 games, man. Give me 6 games where you have a catch of 30 yards or more, and that will be an impact, a huge impact that Florida State did not have last year.
I want to throw this out there, too. So they played Louisville in the bowl game his freshman season without Caleb Williams. I'm sure Caleb Williams didn't play in that game.
Oh, yeah, it was Miller Moss.
He only had 1 catch, but it was a 44-yard touchdown in a competitive game. And then in Oregon, he had 2 against Oregon, who was number 6 in the country at the time. It was a close game that they lost, 36-27, but he had 2 for 46, including a 40-yarder. So again, that's not much. He had 16 catches all season as a freshman, but he had a 71-yarder, a 35-yarder, a 34-yarder, a 43-yarder against Washington in a 10-point loss. He had a 43-yard catch.
National runner-up Washington.
And he had a 40-yard catch against the top 10 Oregon team. And then against the top 15 Louisville team, he had a 44-yard catch. That was as a freshman. So if nothing else, you're getting a big play guy that's done it against real dudes in real games. Like, it's one thing to go catch a 40-yarder in a game you're winning by 30 points or losing by 30 points. But these are against good teams, like playoff caliber teams, as a freshman. Now he had a good dude throwing it to him where you're making plays like that. So, again, it's that experience of having done it. Like Malik Benson had never done it. Jaylen Brown has still never done it. Duce Robinson has done it. And the fact that he made that play, I guess I'm saying what we saw on Tuesday with that one clip. It's like little crumbs on a table. We just give us a little crumb. We got to see one clip of 100 plays. We got to see one. But that catch is not an anomaly or an outlier. That's a dude that's used to making big catches.
Well said.
Expects to make big catches. So that's good to know.
Hell yeah. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, cptallybar.com, the website. Today's lunch special from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. is the cheesesteak sandwich, steak or chicken, your choice. Also comes with a side dish of your choice, only $8.99. Again, today from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Tonight, bingo night. 4 rounds, $250 in cash, up for grabs in each single round. Get out there, get involved, win some money, make some friends, have some cold beverages, have some delicious food. What's on TV right now? Little League World Series? Is there like a Little League World Series game on at 9 o'clock? Is there a West Coast game, Corey, that we can have Bill put on the TV at the CP?
What, at 9 a.m.?
No, like at 9 p.m. After bingo.
Yeah, there's all. After bingo, you can get all the baseball you want. And please, ask anybody you see that's a server, get that Little League baseball off my TV. I don't want to see 11-year-olds. So, and they'll be happy to change it. They did on Tuesday night for me. That's the thing, and it was quick. Just ask someone, go to the bar, say, hey, is there any way we can get this TV switched? And they'll do it quickly. So just do that, please.
Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachia Parkway. We are back. It's Wake Up Warchant, presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com. Tony White, defensive coordinator, also spoke on Wednesday, Corey. Let's, I guess, go a little bit big picture. He also talked about penalties, making drives go a little bit longer than you want to, obviously. And Mike talked about that on Tuesday immediately after the scrimmage. But then he sort of bounced back and then rattled off a whole bunch of guys that performed pretty well. What did you take away from Tony White's sort of comments? Do you think he liked what he saw from the scrimmage, where his team, his unit's at right now?
He liked some of the things. I have to reiterate how much I like hearing from that guy. Because he is insightful and he's directed with his comments. I think he liked it, didn't love it. The penalties bothered him, you could tell, because I think he said it led to 2 touchdown drives. It directly led to them scoring 2 touchdowns. But again, man, I don't know what to do with Jaden Jones. I literally. So he said that when he was talking about the scrimmage, he's like, "Look, there were some guys that we thought would play well that didn't, and there were some other guys that we were wondering how they would play that performed really well." And then Brendan asked him, "Well, who were some of the guys that stood out?" First person he mentioned, Jaden Jones. Not only that, later on in the press conference, he said Jaden Jones was arguably the best player on the field on Tuesday night. So what are we doing? What do we have here, Aslan?
I don't know, man.
When do we start to believe it?
This
like
feels
if after the
unprecedented.
scrimmage, it's crazy.
Right?
It does, right? It feels like it kind of reminds me. I brought this example up quite a bit over the years on this show, but nobody that was a Florida State basketball fan thought Fiondu Kabengele was going to be anything. Like, he was just a no-name signee that I think was committed to Binghamton. He was a prep school kid that had no real offers. He started getting a few after Florida State offered him, but it wasn't like anybody did cartwheels when they heard that Fiondu Kabengele had committed to Florida State. Nobody knew who he was, and he redshirted, so he couldn't be that good. Who redshirts in basketball? But so then you started hearing about this kid, and then I went and watched a scrimmage, and I was like, who is – he hit like 6 threes, and I'm like, who is that? And he was their best rebounder. And it's like, oh, that's the Kabengele kid from last year. And I'm like, what? And then Hamilton's like, yeah, I was telling my wife the other night, like, what in the world? What if this dude's the real deal? And he turned out to be the real deal. But he came out of nowhere, and nobody going into that season, which ended in the Elite Eight, by the way, nobody going into that season thought Kabengele would even be a rotation player. They weren't counting on him at all. And then the next year, obviously, he was the 6th man of the year in a first-round NBA draft pick. The point being, that's the only thing that comes close to this. Like a guy that almost comes completely out of nowhere to be like the talk of a team or a contributor. And I'm not saying that Jaden Jones is going to be a first-round pick. I don't even know if he's going to play. But now I'm to the point where I'd be surprised if he didn't. And I'd be surprised if he wasn't good. Like, they know what they're doing, right? It's not the first time Mike Norvell and Tony White have been in front of microphones.
Right.
You don't bring up a kid unsolicited like Norvell did on Tuesday night, and then Tony White, when you're asked which players performed well, and the very first dude you mention is a defensive end that nobody had given 2 thoughts about until 2 days ago, and bring him up and then talk about that he might have been arguably the best player on the field. It's like, well, what do we have here? So this is one of the revelations of camp. We'll see how it manifests itself once the season starts. We'll also see if it tapers off some as we get more and more. Like, it might have been a good week.
Yeah.
But let's see if they're still talking about him like August 22nd. If they're still talking about him after this next scrimmage.
Let's hear from Terrence Knighton,
Jaden Jones' name again. Yeah, you speak to Terrence Knighton
today.
Later on today, right?
Yeah.
So let's see what kind of practice Jaden Jones had today, how he stacked on that scrimmage, but also after the next scrimmage on Sunday. Does his name come up again? The next time we talk to Tony White or Terrence Knighton 2 weeks from now, is his name still on the top of their the top of their brain, front of their lips? I don't know how that's not even an expression. But if he's one of the first names again, well, buddy, you might have found a diamond in the rough that nobody even knew was still on the team. A diamond on your own roster that people had kind of given up on because of the injury last year. So, what a
not $20 in your pocket doing laundry. You found like a slip that says that your grandpa bought Google stock in 2002 or something.
It sounds like he's going to be a starter. What if he's a star? Yeah. Like all these things, you're starting to question everything the way they talk about Jaden Jones. But yeah, Tony White talked about Jaden Jones and was glowing in what kind of player he is and what kind of person he is.
How about Charles Lester getting his name dropped? That's got to make a lot of people at home excited.
Yeah, who's Duty?
Duty is Shamar Arnaud.
Arnaud, right?
Yes.
So Tony White brought him up too, and again, kind of mentioned him like he's an NFL cornerback. The context of it, and he brought up Charles Lester too, and it got me thinking. Like, so he brought up in the course of one interview, Earl Little and Edwin Joseph. Charles Lester said he made a couple of really physical, impressive plays. It was good to see. It kind of insinuated like that's how you stay on the field. That's how you get on field. Plays like that, you read, react, and you're physical. So that was really good to hear about Charles Lester. And then he talked about Arnaud as like an NFL guy. And you're like, all right, man, maybe there could be some legitimate real-life competition at that spot, which is exactly what you need. In the secondary as a whole, but at corner, because you do have question marks at corner. We do think Jeremiah Wilson is going to be one of them, but his name wasn't mentioned by Tony White, and we know who gave up the deep shot to Duce because we saw the film. So I'm not saying Jeremiah Wilson's not going to start, but it's good to know there's competition at that spot. It may be a guy like Charles Lester. He brought up Kai Bates too. This is how programs are built, man. Even if they don't play a lot this year, they're in line to play next year and be good. And they will get reps this year, maybe meaningful reps. And then next year, you don't have to go dive headlong into the portal again because you've got a Kai Bates or an Arsenault or a Charles Lester that you know can do it. Arnaud. Sorry.
Arsenault's an awesome name too, though. But
Arsenault is a great name. Oh. The entire Arsenault. I think that's what you like to hear. I know there's so many names that you're like, man, there's only going to be 5 of these guys on the field. You just named 12. So many of them won't play. But if you can get them some meaningful reps, if they can provide quality depth and competition in practice, then that's how programs are sustained and built. Not through just diving headlong. You've got to sustain it with good evaluation in high school recruiting. It sounds like the way they talk about the Desir, right?
Correct, yeah, the twins.
The Desir twins, Arnaud.
Duty, just call him Duty.
Dude, I can't do it. I can't call a grown man Duty. Arnaud.
Man, delicious. He wants me to call him delicious.
It's also not his real name, so it's a tough one. That's a tough one to Duty. You got Juice and Duty.
And Juju.
Juju, Squirrel. I mean, it's turned into hee-haw. Just crazy names. But when you hear these good evaluations, the good rap, I can't talk right now. When you hear coaches talking about young players like Kevin Wynn, the Desir twins, as being big time. He used the word big time for the Desir twins, both of them. And that's not the first time we've heard that, by the way. The players talk about them like they're the real deal. I don't know what they were ranked coming out of high school, but it sounds like they might have been ranked too low just from the way these players and coaches are talking about them. That's where the good stuff is, man. Like, I don't think the Desir twins are going to be game wreckers this year, but by next year they might be really good in starting. And you're going to feel like, okay, we've got enough of a depth chart here with the guys we brought in, we evaluated and developed, that we can just go kind of hand pick out of the portal who we want here, who we want there, and who we want there, and not just have to bring in a whole new starting 22. So it's good that you're hearing these young names so much. Our names that will probably even be backups, it's good to hear that they're playing well and catching the coach's attention.
Yeah, that's going to hurt some feelings in South Florida if the Desir twins end up being some real game-changing players here in the relatively near future because they were from
What
Norland
was their
High
deal? I don't remember their recruitment.
I
They
think
not recruited heavily.
I think Daryl was ranked ahead of Mandrell, but they're so close. I mean, quite literally that were package deal, and I don't know how many schools were willing to take on the twin that maybe didn't project as well or wasn't as highly heralded. So I think Florida State was like, yeah, no, we'll take both of you. Because I'm looking at their profile. It looks like the only official visits they took were to Florida State and UCF. And they're from Miami. Yeah. They went to Norland. I mean, Norland's a known strong football program down there in South Florida. So that's our gain, hopefully, Corey. Our gain, hopefully.
It's crazy,
Fingers
too,
crossed.
right? Like, do you think it's genuine that they're both really good? Because that's not – like I can't think of two twins. Maybe the twins at Kentucky on the basketball team like 10 or 12 years ago where they were They were undefeated till the Final Four. The Harrison twins,
Yes,
maybe?
there we go. Correct.
But typically, this doesn't happen with twins. And I wonder, I've never heard a coach or a player talk about one of them individually.
Right.
It's always the twins. They never say, man, Mandrell played really well today. It's always the twins, period.
No one can tell. They are the most identical twins I've ever seen.
But they have numbers.
Right, that's true.
So they never even bring up the numbers. Yeah. Like, yeah, man, 93 was – I don't know what their numbers are. I'm taking a guess.
How do you not know their numbers?
Yeah, I know. I'll figure it out on the Alabama game. But 93 was really good today, or 90 was good, or whatever. Like, it wasn't that. It's always the twins. Those twins can play.
Ooh, Corey
Those
knows.
twins are big-time players.
Corey knows, man. Mandrell Desir, number 93. You knew it.
Oh.
You knew.
So is Daryl 90, 91?
He is. He's 90. Let's go. Corey knows the roster.
Yeah, that's what I do. That's what I do for an hour before I go to bed is study the roster.
It's ridiculous, Corey. This is my job now. When I was a student and I was a subscriber to WARCHANT.com, I knew the number of the walk-on. Like, I knew what his number was. You can count out, throw out any number. I know exactly who the player was. This is my job. If you tell me who's 77, I'm like, I don't know, man. Is there a 77? Was that a trick question? But
yeah,
I know the players. I mean, I know the names. I know where they fit into everything. Bryson Estes was 77, but now he's wearing 86, I think, as a tight end, maybe. Who knows?
Brian Courtney's old number.
Yeah. Keep that. Yeah. Represent that number. One other thing. I don't want to. We'll figure something else out to go on a high note, I guess. But maybe this really isn't too much of a downer. But I was really impressed with the way that Tony White spoke about Jayson Jenkins. Jayson Jenkins, a transfer from Tennessee, injured himself doing his own workouts when he got to Tallahassee. Really soon, January, like when he first really got onto campus. Achilles injury. Shout out Daryl Jackson for leaking that out during our interview during Wake Up Warchant at ACC kickoff. But you hear Norvell talk about it on Tuesday about how close he is to being full go, and you and I start talking about, well, that's a difference maker. If that kid's actually going to be able to give you something in the month of September or maybe even August against Alabama, that kind of changes the way you feel about the defensive line. But then I asked Tony White, he seems to be close. Does that change what you thought he could He's like, nope, not at all. He talked about protecting the kid, and he mentioned that there was a guy that he coached when he was at San Diego State that was heart and soul poured into the program, wanted to be there for his teammates, wanted to play football so bad, and he came off a really serious injury, but he kind of rushed it and then ended up jeopardizing his future season. So maybe we need to kind of tap some brakes on Jayson Jenkins the way that Tony White spoke about him on Wednesday.
Well, I thought what he said was that Jenkins wanted to scrimmage on Tuesday night. Like, I thought that's what he said.
Yeah.
And Norvell was like, no, we're not doing it. There's no need to do that, where he's not scrimmaging. But the fact that he wanted to scrimmage and was kind of cleared to scrimmage, but Norvell was still like, no, we're not doing that, leads me to believe that by next week at the latest, he is going to be a full go, as Norvell said. I didn't get it. I didn't get that impression that to pump the brakes on his availability. What I do want to pump the brakes on is thinking that, look, man, I'm kind of more excited now about Jaden Jones than I am about the return of Jayson Jenkins. It's not like Jenkins is coming here after having a Albert Haynesworth type career at Tennessee or a
strong reference.
Yeah, it was a good one. Leonard
Little.
Shouldn't use him. Leonard Little.
Oh,
I think he might have had a
car
unfortunate
accident.
crime.
Yeah.
But he was an awesome
Reggie White.
defensive end. There you go. Who's he? He's dead too. R.I.P. R.I.P.
The preacher, man. The preacher. Come on.
He was, very, very, very good football player, that guy. But he played in 13 games last year for Tennessee. Jayson Jenkins did. It had 9 tackles, 3.5 for loss, 2 sacks. So you're not getting a guy that is a production machine. What you are getting is 6'6", 275.
I know, but Jaden Jones hasn't played a snap of football in a long time.
100%. But we have it's the unknown of Jaden Jones.
Yeah,
what could he be?
Right.
We know what Jenkins is. Jenkins is a solid-ish edge player. He's 6'6", 275 and gives you depth. He is not going to be a star. Odds are Jaden Jones isn't going to be a star either. He might not play it down. Who knows? But there's at least a hope that he might be just this revelation. Jenkins isn't a revelation. Jenkins is a depth piece, but it's an important one. He is a grown man. He's 6'6", 275, 276, whatever he is. He played 14 games of high-level SEC football, played in a playoff game. All that experience does matter. He's been around. And also Tennessee, I believe, had a really good defensive line last year.
Yeah. He's
so
more than depth,
like
though, I think, Cor. If he's healthy, he's one of your starting three guys. I think he's one of your ends, and then Darrell Jackson's the other, then probably Deontay McCray. Or James Williams. So I think he's more than just depth when they
maybe, but I'm saying like you're not expecting him. Like we know what we don't think his ceiling is especially high as far as like what's he going to be. Is he going to be an all ACC caliber?
Well, because
player?
it's injury, right? This injury. Like had he not been injured, I think. I don't know. Speaking
no,
for myself,
I'm just saying
think,
because he hasn't done it. He's played 3 years and has 19 career tackles.
But apparently, when he entered the portal, like he was one of the most highly sought after defensive linemen in the original, like in the December portal. So, like, I mean, there was big time programs were coming after him, and Tennessee, I don't think, was really excited about losing him. So it felt like maybe he was one of those guys that was on the cusp of going from what you've described him as to maybe being a difference maker. So that
maybe it's just usually it's his fourth year. He's played 3 seasons,
fair,
and has 19 career or 15 career tackles actually. So nothing special. That now it could be right on the cusp, and he might be special this year. I just think he is and I'm not saying he's a depth piece as in he can't start here. I'm just saying you're not expecting the world from this kid. You're not expecting him to be a game wrecker. A program changer. I'm not expecting that of Jaden Jones either. But heck, he might be. He might be the best. He might win the Ted Hendricks Award and the Bednarik Award, the way they're talking about him so far. But it's the unknown of him, the complete wild card nature of what he could be. Maybe the combination of him and James Williams together, like he has 6 sacks and James Williams has 9 sacks. Well, out of one position, then you've gotten 15 sacks. That's at least a season changer. That's big time stuff. Maybe he's that guy. Maybe he's an impact player. Jenkins will make an impact because of his size, the way he can hold the edge. He certainly should be harder to run on because he's big and strong and powerful and a grown man. That helps. I'm not disputing that stuff matters too. But as far as getting to the quarterback and making plays in the backfield, maybe Jaden Jones is that guy. Again, I just don't take it lightly when Tony White, talking about the first fall scrimmage he's ever coached at Florida State, says arguably the best player on the entire field was Jaden Jones. That's not hollow. Like that's not like, oh, just feel he. There's a purpose in saying that, and so I think there's a chance maybe this guy is much better than we could have ever even thought. And again, I've admitted it. I didn't know he was still on the team. So the fact that you're hearing about a guy named Jaden Jones, the first time I heard it, I'm like, who is Jaden Jones? Oh, the JUCO kid that got hurt. And so for him to be like in the mix now, it's just another positive development. That you're talking about a guy that they're talking so highly of a guy that nobody listening to this was expecting anything from. Now he might legitimately be something. That's good to hear.
Decisions. Power or speed, quality or quantity. How about both? How about all? You don't have to sacrifice anything when you choose Brunt workwear. You're not only going to get durable, well-crafted, resilient workwear, but also really stylish choices that allow you to go ahead and pivot right from the job site to your kids' activities, running errands, or meeting up for drinks after work. And since Brunt workwear is geared for you, the real worker, they know you've got no time to waste. You need those work boots to deliver once you get them in the mail and you lace them up. So enjoy the peace of mind of work boots and gear that are ready to go right out of the box. Got that broken and comfortable feeling day one to give you the comfort and security you want. Use the promo code WAKEUP. I'm going to say it one more time. WAKEUP. It's all one word. Over at bruntworkwear.com to save $10 off your order. I'm going to say the website again, everybody. You ready? bruntworkwear.com. Use that promo code to save $10 off your order. We're back. Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com. Last segment of the day. We gave you an hour and a half yesterday, everybody. That might have been our longest show ever, Corey.
I don't know.
Although, I don't know.
You're welcome, though, everyone.
We used to do some marathons back in the day. Back in the good old days, like 2019.
Yeah, that's right.
So much good stuff to talk about. But what I really like to hear from Tony, this is my last kind of thought on the day. You can add whatever you want or push back, whatever. But it's early still in camp. I get there's a lot of practices left. I do like the fact that I didn't get a lot of we're there, we're on our way, everything's great. It's still realizing they need more out of these guys to get where they want to go. And I think Tony White mentioned something about, yeah, they're playing physical, but not nearly as physical as they need to be at a place like this to get to the places where they want to go. So, you want to talk about crumbs with us when it comes to looking at clips on the internet from practice. I think it's those sort of things where, like, he can give them some positive feedback. You had a good rep, you had a good period, but there's obviously a huge standard you have to hit to be the caliber of team that you want to be if you're coming to Florida State and you're all gathered for the same sort of goal. So I liked hearing that from Tony White. Still pushing, not content, but not down either, but realizing that they've got to hit a target that's a little bit further ahead than maybe we'd hope at this point.
Yeah, and they preach dominant contact. And so when I asked him about that, like, are they where you want them to be? Are they coming along in that aspect? And he said, there was intent. He goes, there were a lot of plays last night where the intent was there, the aggression was there, but then film doesn't lie either. And you still see guys avoiding contact, turning their head at the last moment, running around blocks, ducking their head, whatever he said to not.
He said all that. That was quoted.
That's what he said. All that, yeah. So it's like, man, and he's calling them out, and he's like, that's just not good enough. Like, that's still the stuff we've got to get. We've got to eliminate. Now, he didn't name names, and he wasn't saying everybody did it, but he saw enough of it that he was not happy with that aspect, which I kind of like, because what I like about it, because he did say, he's like, either you figure that out or you're going to sit and watch. He's not mincing words, man. Like, this is his belief. Like, you've got to play hard and play violent like Charles Lester did on those two plays, or this guy's not going to play you. And he means it. And so I think that really resonates with those guys, and I'm going to be genuinely interested in what he thinks of the next scrimmage they play, which is on Sunday again, if they were better in that regard. But, yeah, man, he is not a guy that's easy to please. And he's not I don't even know what a player's coach is, but he's hard on him. He's hard on him. I think they really respect him. I think his word resonates, but I think he's hard on him. And the way he talked, I would encourage everyone to watch both those interviews from Wednesday, Malzahn and Tony White. But the way Tony White talked about that last question about, yeah, man, this is what we expect. You've got to bring your physicality, and you've got to play hard. And if you're not going to play. And he's like, it's on film. You can't. Words don't matter. Blah 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 doesn't matter. It's on film. And he goes, he was talking about that's the best thing they got out of scrimmage is seeing what guys bring it when it matters. What guys bring it when the coaches are on the sidelines and not right beside them. Who lets it loose and plays with the violence and the physicality that they want to see, and who kind of ducks around contact. And he goes, the film doesn't lie. And I think he saw a lot of good things out of the film. Jaden Jones. Yeah. But I think there were some guys that did not play well, and he admitted that didn't play as well as they want. I also thought his best quote, which is what I wrote about, it's on the site. He basically was like, I think he was being asked about the DBs having something to prove. And he's like, we all have something to prove. And his direct quote was, everybody on the defense has something to damn prove around here. And amen, brother. Like, absolutely. There's nobody on that defense, including Darrell Jackson, who's this superstar, could be the first defensive tackle taken. Nobody on this defense has proven anything at Florida State. Not to a Florida State standard, anyway. Elijah Herring was a pretty good linebacker at Memphis, but this is Florida State, man. The standards are a bit different here. Same thing with Jeremiah Wilson. Yeah, man, you were a good DB at Houston. Well, this Houston ain't DBU. So the fact that he talks like that and thinks like that and feels that is only good for the program. You've got a guy that absolutely knows that and including himself, he included himself in it too. None of us coaches, none of these players have proven a damn thing. And he ain't lying. So that's where I think that just he wants him to play. He saw steps, you're right. But yeah, he said we're nowhere near close to where we want to be. Again, they're a weekend, so they shouldn't be. That's not surprising.
Yeah. No one's panicking. I'm not
right,
panicking.
but then he talked about, I don't remember if it was Lester or somebody else. He talked about how it was clicking faster. Like it's still not clicking fast enough, but it's clicking faster.
It used to take 3 blinks. Now it takes 2 blinks. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and he wants to get down to 1 blink and go. Like you see it and you react completely. There's no, what do I do? Now I run hard. It's like I'm running hard from the jump because I've diagnosed it and I'm seeing it. So yeah, they got work to do, but they got a dude that's going to hold him accountable. He just is. He's going to hold him accountable. And I think we all understand. I guess I shouldn't say that with absolute certainty because I haven't seen him coach at Florida State yet. But we saw last year there were guys that did not always play hard, that certainly did not play physical, did not put their body on the line, did not bring in aggression, did not play with aggression. They kept getting run out there every Saturday. I don't think this guy's going to do that. I don't think this guy's going to have a defense that looks like that. So those are both good things.
All right. Good thing I've got a lady who lives in Jacksonville. It lets me be here to set up shop and then go cover the Noles when they're in UNF every summer. So let's go see how they're doing. Tweets, video featuring them walking to practice. Coming your way, everybody.
Yep.
Better hit the heart, say that you like it, retweet it, share it, repost it, whatever they're calling it these days. Jeff Cameron, triumphant return was yesterday. He'll be back at it with Tom Lang 1 to 4 o'clock. Are you guys going to try to shoehorn any kind of headlines in this week, Corey?
I don't know. It's doubtful, though.
Okay.
There is a chance, though, that it happens today.
Ooh.
So be on the lookout, folks. But I would say probably not.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, again, Jeff Cameron Show, warchant.com. We'll be back with one more show this week, sharing some of the things we hear from the coaches after the practice at UNF. We got Terrence Nye. I'm going to ask him about Kevin Wynn, obviously. Going to ask him about Jaden Jones, Jayson Jenkins, and we have a lot to discuss. So check it all out. Warchant.com is going to have you covered. He's Corey Malzahn. Thanks for listening to Wake Up Warchant, presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com.